Sunrise Extra on your Thursday. Thanks for tuning in online. As always, in the morning, we are talking about drive-thrus at restaurants for coffee.
Yes.
How often do you use them? Do you think they obviously make your life more convenient?
Why are we talking about this, Nina? Please explain.
Well, we're talking about it because more cities are now banning the new construction of drive-thrus on restaurants. Minneapolis, LA, cities in New Jersey, I forget some other ones. Missouri was the other one, thank you. Are banning construction of new drive-thrus because they say it's what, less traffic, pollution.
Safer for pedestrians, I guess, if you're not distracted by your burger when you're driving. What else? Health, environment.
Health was the big the takeaway that I read about, just in terms of, you know, a lot of these drive-through options are not the healthiest of options. People go there for convenience, not because they want to eat well necessarily. So they think that they're doing, I guess, people a favor by eliminating that option. Maybe if you have to get out of your car, you'll take a more healthy option to do so. Because
there's more parking than on the new construction if there's no drive-through, I would hope.
I almost never go into, I'm going to just say, Burger King. Nothing against Burger King, because obviously I love Burger King because of the drive-thru. And that's why I go to Burger King. I'm like, there's the drive-thru. This is too simple. I can't pass it up. I'm going in.
Yeah. It's easy.
I usually don't feel great afterwards.
Yeah. Drive-through revenue.
But I keep going back because the drive-thru is too tempting.
I would tell you, drive-through revenue on average is no less than 30% of total sales for a lot of places like McDonald's restaurants.
How do you know that?
And well, I mean, I used to work in the industry and I keep up. That's true. So this is a huge deal, you know. I mean, recently up in Salmon Creek area where I live, Starbucks, in fact, went out of a long-standing location and they bought some property nearby because it had the chance there to redevelop it with a drive-through. Again, recognizing how much drive-through drives the cash register at these places. So if you did do away with this, and I think you alluded to this, Nina, then these restaurants are going to be scrambling to increase parking, construction, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I have a hard time believing this is going to become like widespread, but it is in spotty cities. You mentioned what, Minnesota, Missouri, New Jersey, is that right?
South Los Angeles did it, and
California.
The existing drive-thrus at restaurants, which are the vast
would be
majority,
grandfathered in.
Yeah, are not affected at all. It just would be construction of new ones. But a lot of people, I mean, think about, like, you have kids and car seats and unbuckling everybody, and like if you just need, you know, you want to go through for apple slices and a milk after soccer or something, you're gonna have to get. You're just not gonna.
There are healthy choices. I'm glad you mentioned that, because there are healthy choices at most of these restaurants now. They've bowed to that's what customers want. They want at least a healthy choice. But clearly, drive-thrus popped up. They really started to become widespread as we went into the decade of. They really started to pop up and become widespread in the latter 70s into the early 80s in our country. I know this too.
I feel like you're my fast food correspondent.
And there's a reason for that. Obviously, it's something that people really like. So I don't, you brought up, and you may have already mentioned this, but I know that on Sunrise you brought up that there was a case study in, I think, California that showed that since this went into effect, which has good intentions, the fact is it did not impact obesity rates. They actually went up.
Los Angeles after.
And you know why? Because once you go into the restaurant and you get comfortable, you're like, what the heck? I'll order a second Big Mac and a second order of fries.
Is anybody else thinking these two words? Because this is what came to my mind. Nanny state.
Yeah.
Nanny state.
Are you going to tell me what I can and cannot do? I know you're thinking it. I mean, a lot of people feel that way. It's like, come on, don't legislate, don't do all these things. Let me make my own choices.
It's like banning large soft drinks or something, you know, like that is your personal choice. We asked this morning, and a lot of people weighing in, how often do you use a drive-thru, whether it be for like a Starbucks or coffee or food? So we have those numbers, but live comments.
Lots of live comments. Pamela. Often, I'm going to say always, Pamela always watching our Sunrise Extra stream. Hello and good morning, Pamela. She says, and here's something I wouldn't have thought of on my own, how about this idea that if we got rid of the drive-thrus, Rod, speak to this, Rod, if we got rid of the drive-thrus, perhaps that would promote going in as a family, actually sitting down and eating the meal together.
There's less time these days. I
like
feel
that.
Like, you know?
Right.
I like her notion.
Kamala says getting rid of the drive-thrus would encourage people to actually get inside and sit down together and enjoy a meal as one.
And you know, another thing, and speaking of McDonald's in particular, the trend has been over the past decade, I know this too, for them to actually, new construction, they're building somewhat smaller dining rooms in many cases, recognizing that so much of their traffic flow actually goes through the drive-thru itself.
And you've seen there's no more like kids play areas. McDonald's has virtually gotten rid of all of those.
And I think part of that was actually
coming in and like sanitary
that, but I
reasons,
think there was some other concerns in terms of health, sanitary, and safety concerns that kind of played into that.
I'm totally thinking that it's probably coincidence, but when my kids were little, every time they went into a ball pit or the McDonald's, whatever, or the Burger King, whatever,
immediately
they came home with a cold, and then I got it. Christine Lewis says, I use the drive-thrus often. I also turn off my engine when I think I'm going to be sitting there for a while.
Good for you.
Yeah, that is good.
Doing your part. So we have the kind of poll numbers on the bottom of your screen. It's virtually almost split between how often do you use a drive-thru, weekly and never. 42% saying weekly, 37%
we have a monthly
never?
option. Well, we have a monthly option too, but no one's really choosing that, it seems. It's either weekly or never.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure my average is anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And you know, here's the only way it would really alter my personal behavior. There are times I'm driving through. I'm not a line person, so but if I notice there's no line at the drive-thru, then sometimes I'll go. You know, I'm going to whiz through there really quick and just get myself a little snack. Be it a $2 burger or a bean and cheese burrito at Taco Bell. Now, clearly, in those cases, I wouldn't do that if I had to go in, because I'm just going to do it at that point because it's really convenient.
So you're being triggered to eat by
if there's no line.
Exactly.
That can be fast with
So are you really hungry, or you just see an opportunity?
Yes,
come on. You know, sometimes you're not dying, but it's just a little quick snack of something sounds good.
It is like that trigger.
So that's the only way I would see it. It would probably do away with that, maybe.
I am rooting for you to live to be like 113.
Oh, he
honestly,
will.
Because I want to go, man, this guy did nothing but eat fast food his whole darn life.
Preservatives,
and he's 122 years old.
Of the weather
You're
world.
pickled.
Yes. Okay, Michelle, I was asking you guys earlier on Facebook today, like, how often do you use a drive-thru? Michelle says, I treated myself to drive-thru coffee yesterday while my baby slept, and it was blissful. That is so true. If your kids are like asleep in the car, and you just need to keep driving to keep them, lulling them to sleep.
And look at all of the single private entrepreneurs that have drive-up only coffee windows. Of the big chains, Dutch Bros is almost, I'm going to say almost entirely drive-through.
At one point they were
models. So if that were banned, boy, you're rewriting especially the whole coffee industry.
Right.
So Jeff and Charlotte, Jeff and Susan had the same thing. One at McDonald's and one at Chick-fil-A. They say they have dual lanes. They've got so much business, so they like get you through.
I often get confused when I pull up to those dual lanes. If I'm the only car, like which one do I go into?
Whatever one's faster.
See, but
there's no cars neither.
And how do they know it's you? Which car?
Right.
They have a little camera actually that will take at McDonald's. They have a little camera that snaps a pic of your car, and then that's on the registered device as they.
I am learning so much from you about fast food, because honestly,
you are a wealth of
I
knowledge.
do have to say it was several weeks ago. I went to a McDonald's drive-thru in Olympia. We were visiting family up there, and I got like ice cream because I wanted something sweet. No, it was like a sundae.
Oh, I love it.
But before that, I swear to God, it must have been 10, 15, 20 years since I've been through a drive-thru.
Of any kind?
Except for coffee.
Well, coffee.
Outside of coffee, you had been
but
10 years
food,
without it.
I'm talking about fast food.
Wow,
10 or 20
Burgerville?
years.
No.
Because I tell myself that's not really fast food.
Burgerville.
Yeah.
I know.
That's local.
It's been a long time.
And lovely.
I liked this comment. Boldine Dynamike on Facebook says, she wouldn't patronize Starbucks or Panera if they didn't have drive-thrus. Seriously, moms with small kids need drive-thrus.
Oh yeah, Panera. Panera generally is known for having a lot of healthy choices, actually, but they also have a drive-thru.
Yeah, sandwiches, salads.
Oh, Jamie Ralston, I love this. What? I've often thought a drive-through 7-Eleven would be useful. 3-item limit, LOL.
Slurpee on the go.
That's hilarious.
Slurpees are like my...
When I was in Kentucky, I always thought there was something wrong with this, but when I lived in Kentucky, this would have been mid-90s, they had drive-through liquor stores.
Really?
And I always thought, okay, there's something wrong with that.
Yeah.
Any Colorado reaction?
We had something growing up in the Philadelphia area, which was a great drive-through option. It was called Swiss Farms, and you could drive through and pick up like your dairy products, milk, eggs, whatever.
Yes, in LA a long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
It was awesome. Swiss Farms, and it was like, because those are the things that, like, you try to go once a week, we do to the store, but every once in a while, like day 5, it's like, we have no milk. We're out of eggs.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea.
I liked Swiss Farms.
So we're deciding more drive-throughs, not less, basically. Convenience, because life is busy now. Traffic sucks. There's nowhere to park. It seems totally counterintuitive to let's just keep the traffic moving, like instead of trying to circle and park.
I am amazed at the amount of time people will spend in a long drive-through line. There's a Dutch Bros that I pass on the way home all the time. They are so busy. Of course, they have the dual lanes, as a lot of Dutch Bros do, that my daughter and I, for fun, count the cars. The record, I think, standing at this Dutch Bros of cars total in line is 34.
Wow. That's
How
a
long
lot.
are you sitting in your... So that's at that point, I'm thinking, that's not convenient.
move on to the
You're
next
sitting in that line for 15 minutes, if not
People
more.
just don't want to walk
It's
in.
crazy.
Right.
I just want to stay
Crazy.
listening to my podcast or my radio or with my kids in the back. Okay, again, I'm just going to say this off. I don't care if you go to the drive-thru. I don't care what you eat. I don't want to tell you what to do. I had a kind of a weird aha moment, though. I was sitting in traffic and I looked over and it was a long line of cars and there was a fast food restaurant like right out my window, so I was just kind of waiting for the light to change. And I saw this man walk up to the place, and before he went in, he pulled down his sleeve and he covered his hand and he opened the door like he was kind of a germaphobe. And there was kind of a funny moment in my mind. I thought, probably what you're going to eat in there is worse than the germ on the door handle.
Well, we'll do an investigative story on if that's true or not.
No, I don't know either. But there are people who think that's kind of poison. Like, bad stuff, don't eat bad stuff. But I thought it's interesting what the different perspectives of, I don't want to touch that, but I will eat this.
That is very funny.
It was kind of like,
very ironic.
And then the light changed and I went on about my business.
My takeaway from that is, be aware, people, wherever you may be in this area of ours, Brenda Braxton may be watching you. And
I could
That was my takeaway, too.
Observations.
I promise I won't identify you, though.
There are so many great, actually, comments that people are chiming in through live right now on. I'm paying attention to the Facebook feed. Because we had that earlier comment from Pamela suggesting that if they got rid of the drive-throughs, then people would be forced to go inside, perhaps with their families.
I liked her sentiment there, really did.
But I thought about this too, and then where the heck is I want to credit the actual woman who said this. Now there's so many comments I've lost yours, but the idea was this: that she says she goes through the drive-thru, picks up the food, and then brings it home. They still have dinner as a family, and she says it eliminates the dishes and the cleanup, and so they actually have more family time because they're not spending time doing the cooking or the cleaning up after. Heather Fields said that. Thank you. Heather Fields.
Thanks for tuning in, Heather.
Probably, I'm going to say the #1 spot where that's probably common is Kentucky Fried Chicken. You get the bucket of chicken, you get the mashed potatoes, the coleslaw, you bring it home, you have a sit-down dinner at home.
There you go.
It's really a lovely
family
moment.
meal. All right. Hi, Cloud9. She says, I love you guys on Instagram. Wander's captured. Good morning. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say Roberta says almost never because we don't eat fast food. And Christy's been chiming in. She says, love you guys. Mwah.
Thanks for watching. That's what we're looking at your live. A lot of people think we're just being so rude and looking at our phones, but
what's the
live comments.
One poll we didn't have? So am I correct when I say we understand that the reason this has been done in some cities across our country is mostly to cut down on to improve health? Is that correct?
I think there's a variety of reasons that they've listed. Yeah.
But health was one of those.
Yes.
Yes.
Carbon emissions being another.
Sitting and waiting.
Of course, it's more dangerous. I will tell you as a meteorologist that the drive-thru is safer than parking and then walking in, because once you're in your car, it's actually considered to be pretty safe for lightning strikes. Your chance of getting hit by lightning is much better if you park and then get outside and then walk in.
All right.
Just saying.
Well said. Well
Just
said.
saying.
Hey, Christy, kind of wanted to come on over with us with your big old backpack, girl.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, second topic today. We are talking the great Shakeout. I love this
here.
visual.
May I help you?
Yeah, help her out.
Sure. I know. It's huge, guys. It's huge.
So explain what the Great Shakeout is? This is a national thing.
For a big earthquake, that's a big pack.
Yeah, here, let me grab a
Go
chair.
ahead and help you.
So the Great Shakeout is what we've been talking about this morning. It's happening across the country, and the idea is to make sure that everyone's prepared for when the big one hits or if an earthquake hits. So basically drop, cover, and hold. So many of us who grew up in the Pacific Northwest, we're really familiar with these kinds of drills, but they really want to hit it home to the rest of us who may have moved to the Pacific Northwest from out of the area, or even if you don't live in the area. We've been talking about how to be prepared in addition to the drop, cover, and hold thing, and that's of course something we've talked about a million times, having an emergency kit. So this morning I grabbed this out of my car. I have one in my apartment too, because you just never know where you're going to be.
I want to know, I get scared of keeping like anything in my car for fear it's going to get broken into.
Well, that's a good point.
What's your secret? I mean, if people are going to do a kit, you have one of those like cover.
Right, I have one of those the things that cover, you know, so so people can't see it. So you can put it in your trunk, you can put it in your hatch area. Exactly, stuff it under seat, whatever.
Yeah.
But this.
What do you have in here?
Well, fear of getting broken into should not stop you from preparing for the earthquake. And
that's true.
Yeah.
And I will say,
for me in the car,
you know, you
I've been
guys
broken into several.
You guys talked about how like we're all busy, right? I know you guys talked about that with the fast food discussion.
Times on my hand.
Oh, okay, maybe Drew isn't busy, but I'm super busy, and so I actually went online and purchased kind of a bag that already had stuff in it.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is what it is. But I added more stuff because the stuff that came in it sometimes isn't up to par for me.
What's in it?
Okay, so first aid kit, that's one thing. A water filtration device that you can use to suck up water from, you know, any source that you need.
That's a
like a
pond
lake.
even?
Yeah, I think actually, yeah, a pond. Yeah, that totally works. I also have additional drinking water, and I have more of that even in this bag. Some freeze-dried food.
What do we got here?
Yeah,
Secret
some
goes. Rod, what do you think?
I'm starving.
Granola with milk and blueberries, like
See
it.
what we got.
Ooh, rice and chicken.
Rice and chicken.
Meanwhile, Paul Kenny has actual bagels in his hand. Hey, Paul.
I know.
Okay.
How's it going?
I want to know what else you got, Christine.
I'm going to make my way to your house.
Oh, geez, yeah, my car. There's also a lantern that I have in here.
Is that battery out? What is that?
It is, but I also have batteries somewhere in here, like a whole pack of AA batteries that can power that lantern. Really important, a hand crank radio, flashlight, and charger you can use for your phone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just a bunch of stuff. And this isn't even, you guys might think that I'm a total over-preparer here, but this isn't complete for me. Like, it's a work in progress.
Really?
Like, I want to get more stuff that I feel like, you know, for instance, this morning when I was looking through this stuff, I realized, great, this thing can power my cell phone or whatever, but I need the cord that would go between my cell phone and this device. And I'm like, oh, I remember now, I have to put that in. So there's just plenty of stuff.
So where do you keep it other than your car? Because I live up in the West Hills, and I'm certain when the big one hits, if I'm still there, I will slide right off into downtown Portland. That's all.
I don't know if anyone can help you.
No, but what I'm saying is, where do you keep it? Because sometimes they say in an earthquake, parts of your house collapse, and then you can't get to your supplies. And we keep some things in the garage. Like the last time we had this discussion, we got out more water. Then I find myself breaking into the water because I'm thirsty and I don't have any, and I grab something.
Oh, for
so I
crying out
bust
loud.
into my emergency kit.
You can't just turn the sink off for that?
Okay.
Because I'm going to bring it here, and I didn't.
Wow.
I think that's a good question, but also, since you brought up water, an expert talked to me from the Oregon Emergency Management Office. They were saying that, you know, remember your water tanks. Like, there's water that is completely drinkable, usable in your water tank. So that's like 40, 50, 60 gallons right there.
Oh, like the hot water heater?
Yeah, you don't even think about that. You just have it right there.
That's interesting.
Somebody I think I watched a piece somewhere that said, you know, you could be sleeping when all this happens.
Yes.
So maybe in your bedroom, you know, just easy to grab, just quickly grab it.
You're stressing me out.
I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
No, but don't get stressed out. It's all good to think about before something happens.
I've got a big plastic tub,
Yeah.
and I have it in our hall closet, like, you know, under the coats and stuff, but it has Top Ramen, and I've got one of the little radios there too, and like I went and got the big cans of, you know, Hormel chili and like things that will last.
I'd break into that.
Make sure you have a can opener.
Hormel chili. But yeah, you just kind of, every time you go to the store, you know, you pick up like 2 more cans of something and you just stick it there and you can forget about it. And on Amazon for $7, I think actually $14, you can get a 7-gallon water jug, and you just fill it in the sink and put it, you know, in the closet or in the garage.
And
how many days are we trying to prepare ourselves
so
for?
this,
2 weeks?
well, they want you to be able to do 2 weeks, but a lot of preparedness kits come with like 72 hours of stuff, whether that's for 1 person or 2. But yeah, the Oregon Office of Emergency Management, they say they want people to be able to survive without additional help for 2 weeks. And in terms of water, that's a lot. That's
21 cans of Hormel chili.
That's a lot, yeah. In terms of water, you should have a gallon per person per day if you want to be really prepared. But I mean, in a pinch, if you've got like water packets or, you know, bottled water.
What's the least we can survive on? I do not have space for
That would be 1 can of Hormel chili per day.
This is interesting, I thought, Camera J. These are survival tabs, and on the back it says this pack of 24 tablets is meant to keep you alive and going for 48 hours at a time. It has all kinds of vitamins.
That was the
and
extra.
calories.
I actually.
Those already.
Calories.
Yeah, I have another.
Anyway.
We should be taking this right now.
Can I tell you about some Jeff Lucas comments?
Sure.
Jeff watching us, chiming in.
Thank goodness.
What did he say?
He's got a string of comments. First, he tries to tie in our 2 topics today together. He says, if an earthquake happens, I'd rather be in a drive-thru than inside of a building.
That's a good point. He's correct. Same with the lightning safety.
Then Jeff later says, because you talked about, you know, this could happen while we're sleeping.
Yeah.
The big one.
Yeah.
And he says, well, I guess I should stop sleeping in the nude.
That is
Thank
a
you for that
legitimate
visual, Jeff.
concern.
And then he gives you a serious question. He says, where did you get this exact kit, Christine, and how much was it?
He likes
Okay. So I don't have my phone, but I got it on Amazon, and I compared. Okay.
Sorry.
We got to update you on like life
Amazon.
these days. But yeah, Amazon, and I actually compared a number of kits, and to me, this had a lot of great reviews. It's called Sustain. It's called Sustain, and they have a number of different backpacks. One I think is for 1 person. There's another one that is for 2. There's another one that's for 4.
How much, Christine?
I want to say it was like $199.
$199.
But that included a lot of stuff. Well, there's a lot of stuff I haven't taken out. So there's like
That's one purchase, and then you don't really.
emergency blankets. There's a stove. Not that I'm gonna for sure. Yeah. So there's like bowls. It includes a lot of stuff that I haven't even shown you guys yet. But yeah.
I'm curious about the human mind now. So I'm going to kind of dive into yours.
You could buy for
You've spent the $199. You have prepared yourself better than anyone I know, honestly. And my wife has kind of got us prepared, but not this well. So at this some point, are you kind of secretly hoping that something happens because you are so prepared, or are you still
No.
like I am, that nothing ever happens like this?
No, I definitely don't want something to happen, but I'm happy. My boyfriend actually teases me all the time. He's like, you are one of those doomsday people. Why do you have? Yeah, but I tell him, you're going to be glad that I did all this, like
My
in the event.
is a firefighter, and he made fun of me.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Well, how can he save you if you're all prepared and stuff?
When things go south.
He can't go and save you if you're all prepared like that. He wants to save you.
He's an old jaded
He wants to be
hero
relevant and
complex
useful.
firefighter. I love this information. You can find this particular one on Amazon, but just start a little box.
Start saving chili cans.
You know,
Chili!
Get Rod some Hormel chili and a beef and bean burrito, and he's gonna be happy.
Cocktail weenies.
We will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for watching Sunrise Extra. Have a great day.
Let's see if people can find you.